Fantastic location with family and friends.
3 generations of runners all in the one event. I think that is fantastic, and we're back with the elite, and the group of 10 has been cut in number, but some big names right there. I must say we're not getting to see Mandego at all as a prominent figure, which is quite a surprise.
That is a surprise to me, certainly. I thought he'd be up there right on the back of this pacing group. It's interesting how maybe he's not having a great day, I'm not sure, but he certainly doesn't look to be as prominent as what I thought he would be.
So 3 nations represented in this leading group, with Ethiopia, Kenya and Japan. Yuki Kawauchi, the Japanese runner, he's a sensation back home. He's known as the citizen runner, and he has a huge following.
This is my joy. Everybody can call me and recognise me as the citizen runner, so that we can share this period of the sport, get together and bond. It doesn't matter what the sport is.
Tokyo Marathon, Yuki ran a time of 2:8:37. His best?
He's no citizen runner, let me tell you that. Don't think of him as just an amateur person who's just taken up running. He's a very classy athlete, and that would put him just on, just outside some of the best marathon runners that country's ever produced.
25 years of age, what a story it would be back in Japan if you could have a Japanese winner in the men's and the women's, because certainly in the women's, with the efforts of Kaori Yoshida, she's already won here a couple of years ago and looking good again.
And Kaori looks like she's got a friend there. I think that's Walknesh Tola, who's just caught up. It looks like they've got a little pack going, and I don't know if she doesn't look all that happy about that. I think she's trying to just push the pace a little bit. I think she prefers to run by herself. I just get that sense the way she's running there.
And Worknesh has a good winning record in marathons over a long period of time, so no surprise to see her there. Another one of the Japanese runners, Kaora Ayama, on screen, 29 years of age.
Isn't it interesting? We've got Ethiopians and Japanese, both prominent in the men and women.
And Kenya well represented as well, with Helen Kumatai, who has the form on the board this year, winning the Rome Marathon back in March in 2:31:11, an event where she had patience to thank, and she's right in the middle of the pack right now.
I tried to go with the best of the ladies until 19K. Ladies also tried to push. I left them to go, but when I reached 25 kilometers, I found the ladies. I start now picking them slowly by slowly.
Yeah, fascinating to hear thoughts, and a little bit of ground to make up though at the moment for Kumatai, despite her outstanding record. Yoshida and Tola really doing the business here.
And it's unusual for Kenyans. Normally they're very aggressive and up the front of the pack, so that's good to hear. Kumatai saying she just paces her run and picks them off one at a time, and we might see that today. Although I'm just not sure. It looks more like these two have settled into a really good pace now. And Rashid, I'm convinced she likes running from the front, so she might get a bit perturbed about having Tola right on her feet there.
Well, here's one of the outstanding landmarks of the Gold Coast, and we're talking about Q1, and these days you can do the Sky Point climb. Not quite my cup of tea that high, but boy, oh boy, what a view of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon today that is.
They're giving us a wave. I think I'd prefer having my feet on the ground doing the running today rather than up there. What spectacular views. They get a bonus getting to look down on the runners today as well.
What a great part of the world, and I'd like $1 for every photo that's been taken under the Surfers Paradise sign right there, right at the steps of the beach. And today, runners aplenty.
Good packs there. You see a lot of the runners going in there for that much-needed drink, making sure they're keeping hydrated. You can see the sun poking through. It might get hot later on, but at the moment it's still pretty good. But you want to hydrate early if you can. They're out there waving, enjoying the day. Look at that. Ladies, isn't it terrific? I reckon there's been a massive jump in the number of women who are running in events like this now. It's great to see.
What a wonderful shot. Surf just rolling in here on the Gold Coast. We've got the Endura hydration aid stations, and that's always the key, Steve. You've got to have your race tactic in that regard planned out before you start.
Yes, and the elite athletes will have their special drinks on those stations. There's 8 of those across the event, so every 5 kilometres, but they will get sponges and water stations in between those at 2.5k as well, and they will certainly be utilising those today.
Well, we had a very clear pack of 10 early. We've now got sort of 7 runners starting to string out a little bit.
And that's where the pace is on. Obviously, they're starting to get into single file. So I think they've injected a bit of pace there. And you see Mwangi just directing them there, marshalling the troops.
And this is the southernmost point of the course down at Burley Heads. So they turn back. And some of the field will start to get a glimpse of these top runners. And yes, Mwangi, well, he's the boss at the moment, isn't he, of what's happening out there.
The tall, rangy figure, he certainly is. Looking dominant at the front of the group there. He's got a bit of a gap. I'm not sure if he's breaking away. They're through 15 kilometres and starting to head back, so you get a bit of a sense you're running back towards that start-finish area. So I think, you know, they'll be starting to get a bit serious about their running now. Keeps looking back, which is interesting. He would do that. I'd be looking forward and running down, looking forward to where you're running, not from whence you've come.
Well, Mwangi sending out the message, really, that he's not about to slow down. He's sort of wanting the pack to come up alongside of him.
He's obviously maintaining the pace, and he's saying, well, I'm out here, come on, let's get on this and work as a group. It's a long way to run by yourself, 27k.
Well, from above, you can appreciate just how fast they are moving along. And let's hear more of Robert Mwangi right now on his race approach.
I'll pace until 30 kilometers. I'll try to do my best until 30. So after 30 now, if I'll feel that I have that power to go, I'll go. If I feel that I have to keep in the pack and then try to push harder at the end, that is what I'll do.
Our lead runners hit another one of the Endura hydration aid stations. And Steve, more on Robert Mwangi. A month ago, suffering from typhoid, and he's not 100%. He looks 100% right now.
He does. He certainly. You would never imagine that he could have had typhoid just that short time ago, and his recovery seems pretty good.
Physically, quite the specimen. We say he's the big man in this pack, but look, he's a big man in any company, really.
He is, yeah. For a Kenyan, he's quite tall, and surprisingly, I mean, he's towering above the rest of the field there, and that's a bit unusual. It's a long way to carry that. If he's taller, he's carrying a bit more weight. So normally, from an efficiency point of view, you don't want to be too tall. It's normally the smaller marathon runners nowadays who are successful, but he's certainly leading from the front. Looks great.
So 7 runners at the front of the field in the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. And the Gold Coast will, of course, be the venue for the Commonwealth Games in 2018. And this area ready to embrace that sporting festival. You know, it's just a great place to go for holidays. Everyone in Australia loves coming here, but now also a premier sports venue as well. And this particular event proves that every year.
And look at the people out on the course. You can hear the sounds and the colour. It's just a good event to be a part of because you get such great support from the crowds here. So I know out on the streets, there we go. Look at that off the balcony, giving us a wave and a cheer. Good on them.
Well, they're represented in the 2 major football codes in the AFL with the Gold Coast Suns and the National Rugby League with the Gold Coast Titans. But look at this, where the rest of the field get to see the elite on the other side of the road. This is fantastic.
How good would that be? What sport can you do that, where you're running along, enjoying your participation, and you see some of the best in the world at their business?
And to totally gauge where you're at to see how quickly they are moving. And just take a look at that. They're flying here. And certainly the race record is in serious danger today of being broken.
You are correct, Andrew, because we've just heard that they've gone through halfway in 64.33, which is just over that 3 minutes per kilometre. So they are just under race record time. So yeah, they're certainly on their game today. And having a big pack like this, you would think that having the depth, that a couple of these guys are certainly going to be able to give that record a good nudge.
Well, spectacular the pictures we're bringing to you today from the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. And you want a postcard shot? Well, how about this one? And our team of camera crew doing a great job up in the choppers today, bringing you the images here. And back to our lead runners. And Mitai is there, and Mwangi and Shumye just on the right. They've got Kurrawa Beach on their right-hand side, one of the famous strips at Broadbeach on the Gold Coast.
There's a couple just dropping off the back there, so they're certainly getting down to their business now. They'll know, they run out on this same section of the course, so they'll know that they're heading back now, heading towards surface and main beach. So they're in that stage of the race where they're just sorting themselves out a little bit, I reckon.
Well, good opportunity here, Steve, to compare some running styles here of our lead group. And you look at our Japanese, our citizen runner,
Well picked, Andrew, because I think you look at the Kenyans, very relaxed, arms very high, and you look at Kawauchi, who's really working hard. He looks like, he's tough, that tough Japanese attitude of mentally, he's hanging on. He's been hanging on for about 10K, but that's sometimes just how they run. It's a bit deceptive, but gee, the Kenyans and Shumye, they're looking very compact and very relaxed in their running.
Well, Mwangi towers over Shumye. That's the tall and the short of it. But what is the mindset of the runners at this point? On record pace, will the wheels fall off? What are they thinking?
So marathon, when you run it, it is enjoyable. The pace is high, but if you look with your own eyes, you will see the pace is not high. The guys are not moving fast. So once you look at your watches, when you see that the pace is high, it's about 3 minutes per kilometer. It is 2:59, and you don't feel tired when running marathon. Then it is enjoyable. You feel great.
Well, I wish that Robert could be played through the headphones of runners everywhere in the field, because they can look down at their watch and when they see they're running 2:59 and it's not hurting, it's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable and it's great. Yes.
That's how it works.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I know what he was getting at, but I probably wouldn't have said it's fun and enjoyable.
But break down the actual figures. It is basically running 100 metres at a time of around about 18 seconds, over and over and over again.
Only 420 times with no recovery, none. And again, these people are out there enjoying their day, I'm sure, but they're also focusing. They've trained. I think that's the thing about the marathon, Vossi. You've got to remember, it's a journey. Just to get to this stage, to be able to complete a marathon, you've spent a lifetime. You've spent 12 months training, getting ready for this particular day, and it's terrific to see them out there putting down on the pavement.
Well, the race changes right now because that lead group is dwindling in number now, just 4, and that's Kebenai at the back of that 4, and I'm not sure whether he's going to be there for too much longer. So Mwangi and Shumye and Mitai all at the front.
Yeah, I think once you break that leash, once the gap is over about, we normally say about 10 metres. Once you're 10 metres off, then it's really difficult to get back on, and I think we're seeing that now with Kebenai just off the back and struggling. You can even see by his demeanour and his running action there that he's struggling.
So Ernest Kebenai, this is a tough moment in the race when you've still got a long way to go. You've been with the lead group, but now you start to fall off.
Yes, and no well wishes now. Mwangi's not shaking the arm and saying, come on up now. They're getting to the stage of the race where it's every man for themselves.
Well, you talked about the effort our Japanese runner Kawauchi was putting in. He's also really feeling the strain right now.
Yeah, and throwing the hat off there, so he's really, I think he's realising he's got to work very hard now, sweating up, he's working really tough. Look at the grimace on the face there. He knows this is the crucial part of the race for him. If he's going to make an impact on get on the dais, he needs to do it now.
And Edwin Kameo now in 6th position, so another one going from running in a pack to now running solo.
Yeah, it's hard work there, and you see his head, he's just looking close to him. Rather than looking up the road and looking at the other group, his head, he's more focused on just his own performance now, so his day's probably done. You see Mitai there got the pace. See on his number, he's got the pace on the side of beside his name. He's a designated pacemaker, so he's doing a really good job. He's taken over here and taken up the mantle, realising he's got to keep the pace going because the group's dropping off, so he'll realise that it's up to him to do the job of that 3 minutes per kilometre pace running.
What if Mitai gets to a point and says, look, I'm feeling all right? He just keeps on going.
Well, that can happen. Sometimes there's an unwritten rule that the pacemaker doesn't keep going, but in this circumstance, he's here just to set the race pace, not to really help any particular athlete. So if he's on the pace and he can continue it, then he's quite eligible to win, yeah.
Well, Shumye is a winner, but not so Robert Mwangi, still chasing a breakthrough win at the marathon.